All right. Thank you for being here, everybody. My name is Richard C. Wilson. I am the founder of the Family Office Club. We're an investor community I started about 18 years ago in 2007. The club's a lot of fun because it's essentially a bunch of decamillionaires, pro athletes, centimillionaires, ultra wealthy investors, family offices. And if you think about what an investor is or a family office, it's just a business founder typically that's done so well that they produce seven, eight, nine figures of profits, or they had a sale of an asset. So they're really just kind of super founders or super entrepreneurs in most cases. So a lot of investors and people raising capital looking for investors have a lot in common. Today's webinar is artificial intelligence tools for raising capital. If you're an investor and you're here, stay on because probably 40% of these tools will be highly useful for yourself as well. And you're going to see how you could benefit from just being a member of our investor community as we go. So let me first provide some context. I'm going to be first going through about 9 to 10 PowerPoint slides. It's going to take me maybe 6 to 8 minutes to go through that. We're then going to walk you through a dozen artificial intelligence tools and how we got to this point where 7 months ago, or even 6 months ago, we had zero artificial intelligence tools, and we were just playing around a little bit with ChatGPT a few times a week. Now we use AI dozens of times per day, and we've found there's over 15 AI case use studies just for our niche and our business, et cetera. The AI tools are available for all the members of our club. Just by me walking through it, I think it's going to evolve how you think about AI and use it, though. So thanks for that question already. The more interactive this is, then probably the better. So let me share my screen with you now. See my PowerPoint pop up in just a second, and we'll get going through it. All right, so it's said globally that 300 million people will be displaced and lose their jobs because of AI. There's a lot of exciting things that will happen. Wealth will be created faster than ever before. Things will change faster than ever before. But a lot of people lose their jobs as well. But it's most likely not going to be you because you're on an AI webinar, right? It's not AI that's going to replace you, as a CEO of an NVIDIA says. It's a person using AI. It's your peer who knows how to use AI. Cuban 3 days ago said there's going to be two types of companies: companies that embrace AI and companies that are slowly dying. Another thing that happened recently at an investor summit, I was speaking with Michael here, who joined our club, had never raised capital, had a $100 million exit 3.5 years later. He said plugging into capital and plugging into AI is like two different forms of electricity, and it can superpower everything that you're doing in business. The idea here is to have this be exciting and think about what's exponential, what could move the needle. How do you future-proof your business? Or maybe it's not future-proof, but it's just table stakes to maintain your position in your industry. You probably need to be using AI to be a bit more decisive, a bit more precise, and consider multiple data points and use your time more wisely using AI, right? Here's a little bit of extra context on me. This is my family. This is us. We're based in Oahu in Hawaii. I like outdoor adventure travel. And if you're going to sit through an AI webinar with someone, who better than someone who is such an introvert that they moved to the most remote inhabited island chain in the world, right? So hopefully feel like you're in the right spot here. This is basically what our club's all about. It's really a tribe of 1,000+ decamillionaires, pro athletes, centimillionaires that we've built over 18 years. And we have this proprietary stack of AI tools. The goal is really over the medium to long term, help you scale exponentially, be smarter, more effective, and build lasting wealth. Here's some stats. I'm not going to read this off to you, but we've got about 17 million social media followers. We've put $25 million of capital invested in hosting 300 live events the last 18 years. We've got the #1 podcast on family offices, the #1 YouTube channel on the family office niche, and the #1 most visited website, which is familyoffices.com. We have two types of events, just so you understand the context of how we got to creating these tools. We do investor masterminds. We had a AI mastermind that some of you were at. I recognize some of the names on here in January. And we do about a dozen of these investor masterminds per year. Our next one's coming up here in April. Are all decamillionaires and two heads of two different billion-dollar-plus family offices speaking on stage. Christina scaled from $0 to $60 million and sold to private equity. We have someone that's raised $100 million. We have a former NFL athlete that's raised around $30 million, et cetera. So just lots of exciting speakers to learn from. This is the pictures of a couple of our events. You can see the type of network going on. and just the quality of events that we host, just to give you context for where our insights come from and where our data comes from. Because a lot of the AI tools are built off of the recordings of what the 1,500 investors have said on stage the last 18 years, or because of our databases of family offices and our investor profiles on 22,000 investors. That's what feeds some of these AI tools and makes them unique in the marketplace. So it's important for you to see that we have investors ranging from little private investors you've never heard of before to heads of investor clubs to here's Kevin Harrington, a shark from season 1 and 2 of Shark Tank, who created As Seen on TV. And we helped formalize his family office, and we have closed 2 transactions with him already. So it's a lot of fun working with these types of people. We have a mobile app to navigate the 1,250 investor talks. So it's like a Netflix-like mobile app, and you can stream these while you're walking through the airport, walking your dog, exercising, going on a hike. So hope you find it super easy, convenient to use. And as I mentioned, we have family office databases and lead lists in 20 different niches. And that's going to become relevant here as I show you the first AI tool in just a minute. So we're going to be going through a series of these AI tools. A lot of them are very straightforward once you see them, but it's important for you to think about how you would use them personally. And I'm going to give a practical example for each. One of the last slides I wanted to show you before we get into the AI evolution that every CEO needs to go through is this one. It's our next investor summit coming up. It's a great example of where a lot of our data comes from. We have 75 people speaking on stage over just 2 days. Our last event had 75 people on stage, and the one before that was a 3-day event. So we had 125 investors speaking on stage. To be fair, probably 85 of those, 95 were investors, and 25 or 30 were sponsors. So it's about 70% investors speaking on stage, but the amount of content it's like a fire hose. So how do you make sense of that fire hose when you've hosted 300 events? Well, you need to dig into the deep data and ask AI to sort through millions of data points to tell you what you actually care about. Because nobody's going to sit there and stream 300 events through our mobile app. We know that, right? So it's all about coming in person, meeting with investors in person, but also leveraging the deep data and insights from all these investors. That's what AI has enabled us to do with our club. So here's stage 1 of AI usage by CEOs. It's just using LLMs, just using ChatGPT, using Grok. Probably every single person on this webinar has used these tools, right? So we don't need to spend much time on this. It's pretty obvious. But there are over 75,000 tools out there related to AI. It's actually 75,000 companies now, not just 70,000. And each company might offer multiple tools. So how do you make sense of these couple 100,000 tools? Well, I'll save you some time because while preparing for the AI Mastermind, I was a little bit nervous that we would not be 100% on top of all the latest trends. So we downloaded, paid for trials, did free trials with 150 AI tools. We found most of them were broken with 1 out of 4 wheels working or beta mode, and they were just trying to get 10,000 users to get it working. But more than that, most of them are just not relevant to our industry. Like it is just not relevant to meeting investors, closing deals, conducting due diligence, raising capital, putting together pitch decks. I tried multiple create a pitch deck with AI tools, and the results were 100% garbage. I'm sure they get better every day. I'm sure they'll get there. But right now, they were really, really bad and a waste of time, really. So the second phase of evolution is trying to find vertical tools. We have found one great one called Phone Burner. We have found a great one called Fireflies. And it is transcripting all of our phone calls. So we have 1,000 plus transcripts of phone calls going on related to our company. And we can now, it's like a treasure trove of deep data, right? So there are a few tools we've found to be helpful, and it was helpful to go through that process. But that's phase 2. Phase 1 is just using LLMs like ChatGPT and Grok. Grok 3.0 is now my favorite one to use of all of them. And then the second phase is really looking for vertical tools that have been built for your industry or for something that's related to what's important to you and your company. The third phase is what we're talking about here today. It's tools built exactly for your use case, either by you or by a partner of yours. And that is the phase that every CEO needs to get to with AI. It's not just about the fact that there'll be 300,000 AI companies out there 2 years from now. It's about how you should also have 5 to 10, if not 30 different AI case use studies and processes that you've turned into an AI tool for yourself, or you have found a tool that meets that exact need. Because we all have hundreds of business processes that we do. Anyone that takes deep data, deep research, drawing upon a deep database of information, or it could be made more precise, you need to have an AI tool for that. Bezos says that you have to be decisive. Even with 1 million employees, he prides himself on being decisive. Well, you can be much more decisive if you can draw upon big data and what everyone in the industry is doing, and draw upon 88 different websites, scraping all of those and doing deep research within 30 seconds. It would take an assistant 4 hours to do and probably wouldn't be as thorough. So here's what's happening with AI. When you look backwards, people say, "Oh yeah, AI is growing. It's really coming along quickly. It's surprising how fast it's growing." But if you could look forward, it would be like a wall right in front of your face. It's something that Chris Sacca said, who was on Shark Tank several times, the Silicon Valley, at least since a millionaire or higher. And so I want to credit him with that quote. Like, if you could actually see that exponential build turning into the future and looking forward, it would just be a wall going straight up. The internet took 7 years to get to 100 million people. GPT took just 60 days to get to 100 million people, right? Electricity, 20 years to get to 100 million people. So it's bigger than electricity or the internet. That's why we're doing this webinar. But we all know meeting in person is where you get big checks closed. It's proven. We had to interview Dr. Robert Cialdini. It's proven that meeting in person is 16 times more effective than pitching digitally via Zoom or LinkedIn or email. So I encourage you to look at these tools and remember that core truth. If you're raising 5 to 15K per check, okay, you could use digital probably all day long. People don't need to meet in person to wire you $5,000 probably. It'd still work better if you could somehow, but probably not worth your time too. But if you're trying to raise 250,000, 100,000, 500,000, a million, 5 million, 10 million at a time, meeting in person is going to be part of that process almost every case. So throughout this webinar and every webinar you ever go to the rest of your life, just remember, you got to make sure and pay attention to regulatory restrictions that you may be under and what you can say, what you can do, et cetera. And just keep that in mind before rushing off to put something out to investors that's not checked with an attorney, of course. I'm going to now switch over and we're going to jump right into the AI tools. So I'm going to share a different part of my screen. And this is the first tool we're going to share. So let me check real quick if there are questions here. I see 2. Can we get a copy of this presentation? Yep, happy to share it with you. And yes, there is a replay available of this. We'll probably send out an email tomorrow morning with the replay link so that you can share it with anybody that you need to. Going to now be sharing our AI tools here. Can everybody see the investor pipeline tool in front of them now? All right. Looks like from all the thumbs up, you can. So we're going to proceed forward here. And so for each of these tools, I'm going to explain what the tool does. I'm not going to go through every case use study because you could use each of these tools in 20 different ways. But it'll be a 4-hour webinar, and I'm not going to keep all 420 of you live on here for 4 hours. I know. I try to go quickly here. So this first one is Investor Pipeline Builder. I think this one is one of the most powerful tools we've created. It is live. It's sort of beta live because we created it this week. It's a tool I've been meaning to create, and with this webinar coming, I was like, wow, we should just get it done. And the thesis here is that we have a 22,400 person database of all different types of investors: corporate venture capital groups, single family offices, angel investors, pro athletes, investor clubs, private equity real estate firms, fund to funds, et cetera, all different types of investors. But out of 22,000 investors, who should you really be talking to? Usually 80 to 95% of your capital raising time should be spent with people that you already know, or you've met in person, maybe at one of our investor club events, or is local to you, local to the assets you're buying, or they know your industry, right? And so that is what's key about these tools. Any super AI nerd can build AI tools, but do they know the truths about raising capital like you and I do? Because we actually worked in the industry and we've spent 20,000 hours in this space perhaps, right? And so that is one of the truths, is that out of 22,000 investors, you won't get a lot done just blasting emails out to 10,000 investors at a time. It's about building a real relationship, adding value first. How do you approach the 1 or 2% of people who actually care about what you're doing or are most likely to care about what you're doing. That's what Investor Pipeline Builder is for. And so we're helping you find the 1 or 2% of people out of the 22,000 in our database who are most likely to like what you have and most likely to be easy to meet with. So what I'm saying here in the prompt is that, and I'll zoom in a little bit because I'm not sure how big this is on your screens, but if anyone can comment on whether they can see that clearly or not, what I've typed in, that would be great. But it says, I am raising capital for my fintech company. I'm based in New York City. I do not have a pitch deck to share, but what investor should I be focusing on connecting with? And so I click return on that, and it's going to start processing that and analyze, the 22,000 investors there. And it's asking me, do I want 150, 300, or 500 investor leads, produced? And I'm going to say, I would like 500 investor leads. All right. And now what it's going to do is produce that 500 investor lead database. And it says, since I'm based in New York City for a fintech company, I'll guide you to the most relevant. You should focus on fintech-focused VC and angels, single-family offices, investor clubs, etc. So it's going to be processing this. It probably will take about 20 seconds to do. But while it's doing that, the important thing here is that you might be a real estate platform, or you might be a private equity company, and you could be raising capital for a fintech company right now, or let's say a self-storage deal. But then what if you have a mixed use deal through a co-GP partnership you have, or a multifamily deal, and it's a ground up construction, and you're used to doing value add in Denver, and this is ground up construction in Austin? Well, then you can come back to this tool and use this to find more relevant investors that would be a great fit. Because we all know that your mandates might change. So getting access to this tool and getting access to these investor leads is something dynamic, right? So in the past, when someone had access to our investor databases, because they had like a VIP membership, let's say, in the past, they would have to go and sort, okay, well, who's based in Colorado? Okay, well, who's based in Texas? Oh, well, let me try to Control F search the bios and see who invests in startups, or let's see who invests in multifamily, et cetera. So now you can use this tool to get that investor lead list instead. So while that's processing here, here's the next tool. I want to work with more investor clubs, and I'm raising capital for a dental practice roll-up, and I'm based in San Diego. What investor club should I reach out to? So this tool is unique in that anytime you can reach a platform of investors, it's exponential value, right? That's why we have a lot of wealth advisors, multifamily offices, and investor clubs speaking at our conferences. Some people might be like, oh, well, why would you market like other investor clubs? It's like, well, if we can be as genuinely helpful to you as possible and be an investor club that also helps you connect with other investor clubs, you're probably going to appreciate that. And the more investor club friends we have, then the more investor connections we have as well, right? Like, we're aligned with you. We want as many investors as possible coming to our events. So how do you know which of the 550 investor clubs you should be talking to? Like, well, if you are in the dental space and you're doing a roll up and you're based in San Diego, then this is a tool you can use to do that. So it's asking me, are the dental practices in San Diego? Yes, in San Diego. These are startup practices, $5 million raise, and no pitch deck. So it's asking some qualifying questions to make sure that it doesn't just randomly spit out some investor clubs that are going to be a waste of your time, for example, right? So here it's suggesting, oh, there's a San Diego Angel Conference related investor club. There's Tech Coast Angels, who I think have spoken at our events. There's Cave Creek Capital, which has an investor platform. There's a Harvard Business School Angels of Southern California. There's Band of Angels, who the founder has spoken at our events many times, so you can meet them in person. And then it's actually mentioning our club and the Deep Due Diligence Club that Mark Halpern runs. So it also gives you some tips for reaching out to these investors, why you should reach out, and it encourages you to use our other AI tools here as well. So I think that one's pretty clear on how to navigate the different investor clubs. And we're going to go over 10 more tools. But if all you did was join and not come to any live events at all, which usually people come to 3 to 5 live events, and just used Investor Club Navigator, I think it's a massive return on your investment, because navigating 7, 10, 20 other investor clubs could be huge. It could change your entire business. So let's go back and see what this tool was doing while we were going over to the other tool. I was hoping I wasn't going to have a Willy Wonka moment of I'm now telling the machine exactly what to produce moment there. But here's the 500 investor leads. So you can see here, it's got the name of the leads. It has the name of people to contact. We've also programmed this so that it only gives you one lead per company. It would be a little bit of a cheap magic trick to say, here's 500 leads, and I give you 7 contacts from one company, and those count as 7 of the 500. It did that at first, so we refined the output so it didn't do that with contacts, emails, their location, their LinkedIn profile to make a connection, their AUM where it was possible, their website, of course, et cetera. So you could custom approach them. So when you're flying to a certain city, you can then go and meet with them in person. That's the best way to develop a relationship. So you can see I just downloaded that, and now it's an Excel file for you to use. So here's 10 notes on leveraging these investor leads. Offer value first. Be extremely clear and brief. We're going to get to that very soon with these next tools. And it provides some context so people just don't think, oh, great, yeah, I'll just reach out to these people and raise all the capital I need, right? Like that's just not how easy capital raising is pretty much all of you already know, unless you're really just getting started. All right, I will stop for just 1 second to see if we have questions to make sure I am not missing. Oh, here's Dan. With all these tools, do you still have a challenge with raising capital? How has this helped you? Well, Dan, we're really focused on just growing our investor club. Is it always relatively hard to get the attention of busy investors, investors who were just bruised an hour ago in the public markets or bruised from a real estate deal not going well because of interest rates? Like, yeah, it's always hard raising capital. It's always harder than you expect. I don't expect it'll ever be ridiculously easy. Although I've heard some partners at Goldman Sachs or some billion-dollar plus hedge funds just get everyone saying yes to them essentially all the time. So who knows? Maybe one day we'll get to the promised land of everyone just says yes to everything we say. But I think for everybody, it's more challenging than they wish it was. This just helps you move faster. And why would you not want to use these tools if they are available? All of these tools are available for use. We have 3 more tools we're building that are not available for use yet, but we hope to have those 3 all available in the next 30 days. And 2 weeks ago, we had 6 tools, and we have a dozen now. So this is basically something live and growing, and we'll just get stronger over time. Sharif's asking, so I understand correctly, you derive investors' buy box from AI analysis of speaker comments. We arrive on the investors' buy box from investor interviews, what they say on stage, because we literally ask them, what are you investing in? From their website, where they literally say what they like to invest in. Or from publicly available data like press releases saying what they invested in. We have unchecked the box to share the data with GPT. If you use Microsoft Windows or if you use Gmail, could those big companies be scraping your data? Yeah, they could. Just like OpenAI could be. We've unchecked the box so our conversations do not feed into the master brain of the LLM. And if you are a member, Stuart, then just contact Jennifer and we'll get you access to all these tools. They're all free with membership in our investor club. And at the end of this webinar, we have 3 bonus items we're including for people who are interested in joining the investor club at the end. But as I go through these other AI tools, you're going to see exactly how powerful they can be in ways we haven't had a chance to cover yet here. This one is Investor Email Analyzer. So this is based off of 1,500 investors that have spoken on stage at our events. And you can put just about anything in here. Like, hey, John, I have a 100-acre land deal and I'd like to show you the details. It should produce a 2x return over 4 years. It is based in San Diego, just for a random location. So you can put any email that you're using into this tool called Investor Email Analyzer, and it will grade and rate and give you feedback on your email. This tool is critical because we've had our database business for quite a while. And what we often find is someone says, oh, well, I emailed these 10 investors from the event or from the database. And I didn't really get a good response rate. And it's almost like they're putting it on us that people did not like the email they sent. And we're like, well, you still have to write an email. It gets people value or is unique or is exciting and compelling and high conviction. And part of that is just being concise, right? Most people write emails, many people who pitch a deal, it's like an essay and no one has time to read it. Nobody. Same with materials, 44-page, 77-page pitch decks. Like it's just death, right? You put the word Mickey Mouse on page 42 of your pitch deck and ask your spouse and business partners to review it for mistakes. They will not find that because even your own partners won't read every word, I find. So you have to be concise, dialed in, be clear, have a call to action. And so based on all the investors' feedback on stage and all the discussion panel rating panels and everything I've learned over 18 years running our investor club, and sending out emails to our CRM of 160,000 people or 144,000 people, whatever it is. This is what the strengths of it is. Okay, yeah, it was concise because I just wrote out a sentence and a half because I meant to write that before the webinar started. So of course it was concise, but here's areas for improvement, right? It'll judge your subject line. It will suggest things like a call to action. It'll look at the investor appeal. It'll grade it based on how unique it is or not, and whether you had an email signature there or not. It'll tell you what you need to do. So before you send out an email to investors, just scan it by here. It's like bouncing it off a business partner and be like, what do you think about this email? And it's programmed to tell you it's not concise enough if it is more than 2 to 4, 2 to 3 sentences long. That's how I programmed it, and that's what I think gets the most response. So this one has a final score of 54 out of 100. That's pretty generous. It's probably lower than that. And here's some more pro tips on what to keep in mind when approaching investors. You can also export a PDF summary of the tool results as you go. I'm going to go over the next tool and then go through questions again, because this next tool is one that we are, I think, perhaps most proud of. We have had hundreds of people use it, and we've had more people rave about this next tool than any of the other tools we've created by far. It saved people dozens of hours of time. So I do think Investor Email Analyzer will be useful to many of you. But this next tool is Dewey Instant Due Diligence Advisor. So essentially, the thing is, like, artificial intelligence, it has the word artificial for a reason. It can make mistakes, but so can humans. You should never replace conducting in-person due diligence, working with a real attorney, a real accountant for any meaningful amount of money that's more than $1,000 or a couple $1,000. Like, use AI and do all the things that you should be doing to be a good steward of your wealth or the wealth of your investment fund, whatever it is, of course, right? So I'm not suggesting to go crazy and just rely upon this AI. So here is the Dewey tool. We're going to give you 3 case uses for this because it's so useful. Even if your core focus is raising capital, you're probably either acquiring companies, acquiring real estate assets, or you can use this tool to conduct due diligence on yourself to see what you should be preparing for while meeting with sophisticated investors who either use this tool or they know what to ask. And this tool is trained on 150 white papers and due diligence checklists and best practices on private equity due diligence, angel investing due diligence, family office due diligence, real estate due diligence, et cetera. And it's like you went and found someone and sat them in a corner and said, read these 150 white papers, memorize these checklists, and I'm going to text you night or day, anytime, and I want you to analyze this 100+ page PPM or this 50-page pitch deck and instantly tell me red flags, top risks, what questions to ask, or tell me if my DD process seems valid or could be made more thorough, right? Like, there's no way to do that with a human, right? There's some of these tools have millions of data points across them. So here's one where I say, I want to prepare for a family office level due diligence because I'm raising capital. My deck is attached. What should I build out in my data room to be ready for intensive due diligence by an ultra wealthy investor and million-dollar check writers who will be more thorough than a normal high net worth investor? All right, so we're going to submit that. I already have the PDF attached there to not waste time. It's going to take about 20 seconds to run through that. So to not bore you and waste time, I'm going to push send on a couple other processes here using Dewey, and then we'll look at the results from each. So this second one is a PPM, and it says, I was sent this 100-page PPM. I've read it once, but with all the dense legal language and only having invested in 5 or 10 deals, some of them not even having a PPM. Can you thoroughly review this PPM? What is it missing? What are the top risks? What fees are being charged for what? What are the red flags and questions I should ask? Like, the reason why this is important, most investors don't even read every word of a PPM. They're just too long. They're 140 pages long. Who has time to read every single word? Least likely the people who are such successful at running their business that they have hundreds of employees and are worth tens of millions of dollars don't have time to read every word of the PPM, right? But even if you do, you'll probably have your eyes glaze over on page 89, or you're probably not an attorney by trade, so you're not going to understand 10% of the lingo, or realize what's referencing something else and go back and forth to really understand what it's referencing. So that's why this is super critical. It helps investors feel more confident in moving forward. So I push upload on that. We're going to have it review that PPM. And then the third one is this. I just got pitched this deal. It's a passive income real estate opportunity. I don't want to jump on a call with them yet because it might be a waste of my time. Can you analyze this deck and come up with a summary of the deal and come up with 10 questions I should ask over email to start things out? The reason why this is powerful is anytime someone pitches you something and says, oh, I want to get on the phone. Like, well, first of all, if they can't tell you anything unless you get on the phone, it should just be a pass because everyone's busy. And what if it's a dry cleaner startup in Zimbabwe? Unless you're based in Zimbabwe and that's your specialty, you don't want to get on the phone, right? So you have to go through something like this first to save yourself and save hundreds of hours of time per year. And investors absolutely love this because many times we're really busy, something comes at us, and we just don't reply, so we don't have the time. But you might have 2 or 3 questions you always ask someone who pitches you a certain type of deal on AI or real estate or private equity or dental practices. You can ask those 2 or 3 questions and then have AI think through the other 3 questions you should ask. And then don't spend hardly any of your time on that first pass, even the second pass, and then use your precious time and human brain for the next steps, right? So it doesn't replace, it augments what you would normally do. So here, if we go back, remember the first question was, I want to prepare a data room, basically a due diligence folder for sophisticated investors. And this is based off of 150 white papers, checklists, articles, talks, and our full day workshop on investor due diligence and all of the due diligence comments made on stage at our events. It's basically saying, here is the core data room structure. And this will be custom for your industry, for your offering, for the risks of your deal, for the stage that you're at, startup, value add, roll-up strategy, how experienced you are, et cetera. Do you have a fund or not, et cetera. So this is very dialed in. It's much different than just going and like, oh, I want to read a white paper on how to put a data room together. Okay, well, interesting, but then you have to apply it to your exact situation. AI is doing all that for you and much, much more, right? To me, this is like mind-blowing, amazing stuff. So that's why I kind of nerd out on this and enjoy developing it because like selfishly, I'm using these tools every day, so I make them better selfishly just for my own use. Even if the 400 some of you on this webinar didn't care about them, like it's like, oh, well, I want to make them better because we're using these all the time, right? So here's some key investor expectations, like little bonus insights that we can provide as well. So it's not just telling you, here's how to put the data room together. It's like, there should not be surprises. They would appreciate audited financials, right? You should have transparency in what your exit would be or how to de-risk the deal, et cetera. All right, and I show the results for these next 2 Dewey deals and then run through the questions because I see there's 14 new chats or questions going. For this PPM one, where I had it review the PPM, it's saying, here's the fee structure. It's saying, here's the rental management fees. Here's the key risk factors. Here are red flags. Here are questions that you should ask. Oh, and by the way, one thing it just said as I was scrolling, was not 100% accurate. It's somewhat accurate, but that's the thing with AI, right? Like just like a human reviewing it, it might get something mostly right, but sometimes it'll get something completely wrong. But still, it's super helpful compared to not having these things in here. And David, I see your hand raised. If you can just type in your question in the Q&A, I will look at what the question is in just a second. So basically, it gives you a conclusion, et cetera, at the end. This third example that we did, if you remember, was I just got pitched a deal. I don't want to jump on a call yet. What should I be asking them? So it's basically saying, well, here's the summary. Here's the structure. Here's the operational model. Here's the key claims. And then here are the suggested questions. So it basically, if you're in a rush, you can just be like, okay, here's 10 questions. Well, I had 2 questions already because of the industry. Here's 5 more questions I like from that list. Boom, go, send it off. And before you spend your valuable time on any phone call, if they're not willing to answer 3 to 5 questions about their model, which AI says is most important and your brain says is most important at a high level, then don't get on a call with that person for sure, right? Like you can save yourself a lot of time and they self-selected out of your careful process because you're very busy. All right, before I go into the next tool, I am going to go through questions here. How do you know geographies, unit count, check size, hold period, and return expectations? Well, you can ask, when we get to the tool called Investor Advantage, Sharif, that is the tool to ask all those questions against, and it will help answer all that for you. all investors from the tools are in the Family Office Club, Edna. No, this is fed with every investor has spoken on stage at our events, is fed into many of these tools to get advice and insights and expertise from. The investor database behind the investor pipeline builder, those are publicly available contact details, or someone has a website saying, I have a family office, or I'm an angel investor, or this is my investor club, et cetera. And now instead of searching on Google for thousands of hours, my team has put them into databases and then put that in the AI tool. The investors that come to our events, you need to meet them through our mobile app investor portal, through attending live events, streaming live events you can't go to in person, and networking through our virtual software where you can set up meetings and message people directly through while at the live event in person or virtually. We have a messaging system you can use. We do not put every investor who attends one of our events and then put them in a database because they didn't make their contact details public, right? So it would drive away some investors from our club, and we're always trying to do the opposite, attract investors from our club. Let's see here. Since organization's basic is leverage, these tools meet that qualification. Yes. I really see these AI tools, it's really like the set of them is like a full stack suite of investor and capital raising tools. And it's like a force multiplier. It's like it will exponentially make things faster, cleaner, more decisive, et cetera. The 22,000 investors are global, Peter. We're stronger in the US than other areas, and there's more family offices here that are public than many other countries, but it is global. Shannon's asking, are the AIs you selected remaining in your stable based on merited responses and track record over time and continually getting evaluated? The artificial intelligence tools are being tweaked and improved all the time. In fact, if you use them as a member of our investor club, let us know if something doesn't work. We'll make it better and dial it in. Executive summary is essential. Yes, definitely very simple. It's definitely simple. It is definitely required. You get access to these tools as a member of the investor club, which I'll go through pretty soon here. I'll try to start speeding up. Instant Partner Insights is something you just need permission from someone first, but you put in their name, company name, and where they're based out of, and then it will give you some details on them. You just have to ask the permission first before you do that. Pretty straightforward. And so it just verifies you've asked for permission, and it will tell you, oh, well, Richard runs Family Office Club and he is likely to own these assets. And we searched online for red flags related to scam or fraud, et cetera. And we were not able to find any. And that doesn't guarantee that nothing's wrong, but this is what we found by doing a public search on that person. All right, this next tool I want to submit here and show you the results on. Basically, what we've done at our live events is have people rate 1 through 10 how a one-liner looks on stage. We've had feedback at full day pitch deck workshops, giving people feedback on their materials. And we've put together over 1,000 visual digital assets for people putting together pitch decks. That's why at Family Office Club, we have our charter membership, our VIP, and then a pitch optimization program in case you need help with doing a one-pager or your logo or your one-liner, et cetera. But this gives you a score on your pitch deck, 1 through 100, based on 25 criteria. So I attached a pitch deck and I asked it to rate it. It's going to start spitting out some results here in just a second. Saying, do you have a one-pager? No, I don't have those things. All right, so it's going to start spitting out the results, and we'll come back here in a second to show you the results. Well, I guess it's going super fast right now. Sometimes it does take 5 seconds or 20 seconds at most. But it's basically saying here, oh, the brand name, analyze that, the one-liner, analyze that, et cetera. And then it's going to spit out the rating at the end. So I'll come back here in a second. All right, the one-line capital raising pitch. This is also critical. If you don't get people in the first line of your email or the one sentence of your voicemail, like you're in trouble, right? We've heard people say on stage, you don't get me in the first 2 seconds, I'm moving on, especially in an email inbox or a voicemail. And what's fascinating to me is that I get 1,000 emails a day is what my email meter tool tells me. I only get 2 to 8 voicemails a day. So I literally get 146 times more emails than I do voicemails. People don't want to leave a voicemail. It's easier to point, click, and blast 1,000 people something, right? So we are big fans of following up with people via phone internally here. And you can use this one-liner on the front page of your pitch deck, top of your one-pager, front page of your website, for every voicemail, every email you send, how you introduce yourself in a coffee line at a conference, super critical. So here is my pitch deck. I've attached it. Please give me 7 one-liners to consider, and then we'll see what it produces. Let's switch back to this pitch deck success score. It's analyzing all these different things, and it gave me a 68 out of 100 on this pitch deck. There's not enough team bios. There's no funding ask. There's no one-pager or a website. A lot of people are missing a one-pager or a website for their offering. Here's what to fix first, etc. And you can also export all of this if you want to in a PDF form. You can always ask any of these tools to do it, but you can see the 25 criteria here that it's asking for, and then the final score. All right, one line capital raising pitch. Here's 7 one-liners that it produced. You have to get it down to a single sentence. If you can't say it concisely in high conviction way that gets people to lean forward, how is somebody going to tell their spouse or their investment committee or their business partner or another investor friend of theirs what you do? They can't, right? This is why your brand should work for you and say what you do and draw people in. Your one-liner absolutely has to. Most people don't have a one-liner at all. So this is based on engineered prompts, which is based on our discussion panels where we rate one-liners. We've done many of these discussion panels, our full-day workshops on dialing in your pitch, and also criteria such as you should always have 1 to 3 data points to make it very clear. Saying you're best in class means absolutely nothing. But saying that you have a 100 property fund or 250 million in transactions or a 16.5% preferred return, or you have a track record of serving 142 investors, you've been in business for 19 years, those are hard numbers. So your one-liner should have a couple of hard numbers in it, and it should be concise. And so we put a bunch of rules into what a great one-liner should have. What I would do if I was you is come here and select the 2 you like best and say, make 7 more for me that sound like these 2. Or I really like number 2 and 4, but add this data point in, add these words in, make sure and fit this in somehow. Or write out your one-liner, which might be the form of a paragraph right now and be 4 sentences long, and just give it that and say, hey, turn this into a one-liner. Here's 4 sentences. I know it's way too long, but help me out here. And it's like a coach for developing your one-liner, right? So definitely encourage you to play around with this tool as you get into membership if you're going to. All right, these last 3 tools are different than all the rest. So I'm just going to pause for 10 seconds here. I used GPT to create this model. So I saw that question though. I saw that question here. Yeah, Jay, we reviewed your model several years ago. Thanks for being part of the club for a while now. No, we have unchecked the box. So none of the data you feed into this feeds into the master brain unless OpenAI is just literally lying and feeding it into their master brain while telling you it's not. But just so you know, natively built into these custom GPTs, it does not have memory. And that's one of the downsides. And so it literally will not remember what you said the day before, but it will remember all the things we trained it on. And so that makes me believe it's not feeding it into the master brain. But when you're dealing with a tech company, they could flat out not be honest about something, of course. So it's a valid question to ask. All right, Billionaire Collective Intelligence. So this tool is different than all of the rest because when you work with an LLM and you are asking it questions, you're getting feedback based on what it's scraped from the web and found on Wikipedia and public websites and news articles and data factual articles and scientific journals and all that stuff, right? But you're also getting feedback based on what the 300 million people have input. Some people input stuff that's wrong. Some people publish things to the web that is just wrong. Some people have a lot of opinions and they're not a billionaire. Do you want to get your feedback from 300 million people in Wikipedia? Or would you like feedback on your business from billionaires? What if you could sit down and have a cup of coffee with a billionaire or a few different billionaires to give you feedback? What if you could text billionaires at 2 a.m. when you wake up and you really need to solve a challenge for your business or capture an opportunity and you're not quite sure about how to navigate it or speed things up and move the needle? That's what this is about. So we have found there are 986 billionaires who have given public talks. We found those public talks and transcribed all of them. I also have interviewed 45 billionaires because one of the things I own is billionaires.com. And I've interviewed Mark Cuban and Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and Jeff Hoffman and many other billionaires that you can see on billionaires.com publicly. And I put all of that as well as billionaires we've done talks with on stage. We've done many billionaire fireside chats at our events. So here you can see I've been scaling my business for 7 years now. We do 5 million in revenue, et cetera. We have these challenges, we have these opportunities. How do I grow faster? What do you suggest I do, et cetera? You ask that to Billionaire Collective Intelligence, and you're getting feedback from the collective insights of those 986 public talks by billionaires. And it will tell you where the advice is coming from so that you know which billionaire is giving you what advice along the way. And you're not just blindly thinking, oh, okay, well, I hope this tool really was built off of billionaire insights. And it's not just a little AI magic trick by Richard kind of faking that these are billionaire insights, right? And so here is some of the feedback. Sarah Blakely has some feedback. Jerry Moyes has some feedback. Here's a second point that's backed up by a quote from a billionaire with an action plan on your HVAC plumbing business idea. Here's a third one coming over from Matt Calkins. And it's a strategy backed by a quote from a billionaire. So it's kind of like we're referencing, it's like having references for not only what the exact advice is and why it suggested it, but also who suggested it in case you like or don't like or really appreciate someone from in your industry giving that advice. So I'll move on from that. But similar to why we created Billionaire Collective Intelligence, that's why I wanted to show that one first, we created Investor Advantage. The reality is there's a lot of smart people out there that are just as smart as a billionaire, but maybe took their foot off the gas a bit and spent more time with their children and spouse and we're still very successful, even if they're not a billionaire, right? Like maybe they're centimillionaires, decamillionaires, or just millionaires, but they have things we could learn from them, of course, right? So we have taken the 1,000+ investors that have spoken on stage at our events, our workshops, our webinars. It's over 4 million data points of information and put that into our own little sandbox and said, don't ask 300 million people plus random Wikipedia pages for answers. Don't ask just billionaires. Let's ask this much broader data set of everyone who's spoken at our events. And my question to them is, I'm structuring my next capital raise. I found out the hard way, a lot of investors don't just want an investment fund. So due to that, I want to come up with, and by the way, you can spell things wrong or make little mistakes here and AI will know what you're talking about. And basically, I want to figure out how we can structure the deal right so we de-risk it for investors. And how can I raise capital faster and just build investor relationships faster? And then you ask it that or whatever you're wondering along the way, whatever your current challenge is. And on top of asking a best friend, a peer, a mentor, this is like being mentored by the collective intelligence of all the investors who've spoken on stage at our events. Like to me, this is just mind-blowing and super exciting. Sometimes I tell these people and they're like, oh, interesting. And they're like, they're like no reaction at all. And I'm just kind of like, this is like amazing to me, So we have a lot of fun putting these together. As you're using our tools, if you're like, oh, I wish you had a tool that did this. Well, maybe we can change the back-end engineering prompts, there's and dial a tool in further and make it better for you or come up with a new tool like the 3 new tools we're working on next. And I'll get to how we simplify everything because I know it's like a lot. It's like a lot of tools, right? So here is some custom deal structures to think through: fee enhancement, triggers, tiered bonus, equity based on multiples, convertible preferred equity, liquidity event bonus. Here's how to attract more investors. So this is answering all the questions that you were asking it essentially for advice on. All right, the final tool, and then I just have like 4 or 5 PowerPoint slides to show you, and we'll wrap it up, and then I'll get to all the questions here, and appreciate the patience, everyone being on the webinar. This final one is Family Office Club Concierge. This is for our current members or someone looking to become a member potentially, because this helps you navigate everything we've produced. Sometimes the reaction is like, whoa, that's a lot. Right? Like we have 1,250 investor talks in a Netflix-like mobile app. Well, which one of those 1,250 talks should I actually watch? Right? Like you have 30 one-hour webinars. Probably take me the whole year just to fit in time to watch those, right? 16 live events a year. Well, which events should I attend? 22,000 investor profiles. Like, well, which investors are the 1 or 2% I should actually approach? Obviously, I shouldn't approach all of them. I don't have the energy or time to do that. It'd be a waste of time. And I've already forgotten a third of the AI tools you just went through because you rushed through a dozen of them as quick as you could. So how do I know what AI tools to use? I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the fire hose of things that Family Office Club is putting out there. Well, then you can say, hey, I'm considering joining Family Office Club. I do real estate deals and storage and multifamily, or I do healthcare or dental practices or biotech, whatever it is, right? And then you push enter, and it will analyze all of our resources, all of our AI tools. And if you tell it where you're based or upload your pitch deck or just record a little audio message of who you are, what you're looking to do, and put that in here, then it will give you custom feedback based on looking at our website in real time at upcoming events, looking at all the data points, looking at how many investor leads in general we may have for your niche, and spit out some results here. And so this is based, the cool thing is like on the fly, my team was having to try to do this. Oh yeah, well let me explain. Oh, you're based here. Well, this is an event we're having near you. Or like, oh yeah, don't forget about this webinar. Don't forget about, and like to be thorough and organized every single time really helps my team, but also helps people just understand what's coming up. So for example, we have events coming up and it lists some events there. It goes through some of our AI tools. So you don't have to remember all of them, but it suggests which AI tools are probably going to be most powerful for you to start with. And then you can go from there and use the other ones if you'd like. And it reminds you, if you're a VIP member, you can get access to the Investor Club Navigator and the Investor Pipeline Builder. It then talks about investor leads and says, here's the names of some investors, just to give you some examples, pulling from our databases. And the data is available for all VIP members. And then here's some investor mandate interviews we have in the portal. Here are some of the things in our investor portal you should focus on first. So it's basically saying like, hey, we got this whole mass of things you could use, but based on who you are, where you are, and the stage of what you're raising capital for, you can ignore 95% of it because you have to. There's too much to take in all at once, and use AI to navigate it a little bit more efficiently, because otherwise it is a bit overwhelming and a bit too much. So it's essentially an AI tool to simplify the fact that we made too many AI tools and we just have a lot of stuff in our portal. And it's just not practical otherwise to kind of survive all that. All right, got a few slides left here, and then we'll be wrapped up. And I'm just be staying on here for Q&A and answering whatever questions you have about the club or AI or how to use some of these tools. So just a reminder, we're a tribe of 1,000+ family offices, decamillionaires, pro athletes. It's really inspirational to go to events and just hear down to earth, genuine, authentic talks about scaling a business, about what it was like to sell their business for $30 million, about how hard it was over 20 years to build a business. We had the founders of Barefoot Wines, the biggest wine brand in the world, come on stage. And there's the nicest people in the world just sharing their story of how they started selling wine out of their laundry room in the back of their house and then turned into the biggest wine brand in the world, right? It's just super inspiring to hear that. Also, I get bored very easily, like many founders. I'm kind of like ADD, fast moving. So I do not want to get bored at my own events. So nobody speaks for more than 15 minutes. There's no 45-minute talks from some gold fund or economist, etc. These are a lot of people that have spoken at our events out of the 1,000+. We had interviewed Mike Tyson. We interviewed Tim Draper, the founder of Keller Williams Real Estate, was at our last event. We have some champion like Kane, two-time UFC heavyweight champion, spoke on stage at our last event. Someone from the Maybach family just spoke at one of our events. We have many NFL, NBA players, founder of Gold's Gym, billionaires, centimillionaires, and just nice investors that aren't famous, but are just great investors to get to know. And honestly, have less gatekeepers sometimes to actually get deals done with. And so these are just examples of some of the people that have come, and many of them come many times. Like Jeff Hoffman has spoken at our event twice, and they just reached out to see if they could speak again, right? If a billionaire comes back 2 or 3 times, and by the way, we didn't pay a single one of these people to come a single time. We don't pay for their hotel room. We don't pay for their airplane flight. We don't give them a speaker fee. If they speak, it's because they want to connect with deals. They're building their family office. They want to connect with their peers. They want to learn. They want to connect with opportunities. And that's a genuine community. So we have these April events coming up, and I'm going to get to in a second the 3 bonuses you get if you join our membership based off of this webinar to get access to the AI deals, our live events, the investor portal. I go through that in just a second and then run through the questions. But this is our April event coming up: Dallas, Fort Lauderdale, and Los Angeles, April 22nd, 23rd, 25th. Decamillionaires and some $1 billion+ family offices on stage, sharing how they built and sold their company, or how they raised 10 million or $100 million+ dollars, or how they run their $1 billion+ family office. This is a $1 billion+ family office managing director I interviewed at our last live event. This is John, the CEO and founder of a real estate platform. It took 30 years to build it to $1 billion. And he's backed by Howard Marks, Oak Tree Capital. He's a great guy. And this is our single family office summit coming up in May that I mentioned at the start of the event. So the way to think about our events is that you can always live stream them if you miss them. We have all past events in our portal, but also we are in Dallas 4 times a year. We're in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles 4 times a year. We're in South Florida 4 times a year, and New York 4 times a year. So whatever part of the country you're in, it's pretty easy to come and participate in 3 to 5 events per year, not a little bit more. This is our mobile app, which has 1,000+ videos in it. You can stream in a Netflix-like style. And we just went through a bunch of these AI tools. So these are the 6 reasons that people stay a member and not just join, but stay long-term is the proprietary AI tools. Obviously, we have more than 5 of them now, so I got to update this graphic. Our capital network to meet new investors, meet peers, to structure your deals better. Almost no one goes around saying, I think the key to my success is having a better structure to my deal, but they should be, because structuring a deal can take it from average to amazing, or take it from a good deal to a great deal. So it's super important to go down the rabbit hole of structuring your deals, scaling strategies you get by just being around decamillionaires and centimillionaires and billionaires, just hearing their optimistic views on the world and how they're adding value and forcing appreciation. Peak performance, we talk about being ultra healthy, not just ultra wealthy, a lot. And powerful positioning, which again is like a force multiplier. If you have a powerful position and a great one-liner, everything goes faster. If it sounds like you're doing the same thing as everyone else, you are 100% dead in the water. So these are the membership options we have: 4-month trial, charter membership, annual trial VIP, and an annual VIP, and then pitch optimization program. To simplify it, charter membership is you get to come to the events, you get the investor portal, mobile app, you get the AI tools. VIP means you essentially get all of the investor databases, and you do get to unlock the 2 AI tools exclusive for VIP members, which is the Investor Club Navigator and the Investor Pipeline Builder. Those are the ones that tell you what other investor clubs to work with and what investors to potentially approach out of the 22,000. And the pitch optimization program is we're going to help dial things in so you are positioned in a very powerful way for your 1-pager, a 3-minute founder video where you say what your offering is as the founder. And we really dial in a dozen different aspects of how you position yourself, how you reach out to investors, your logo, your branding, if it needs to be refreshed or redone, your email signature, your Zoom backgrounds. We just spiff everything up to make it a bit more institutional quality. And it's done with our same in-house marketing team that does all of our own marketing and all of our same branding and everything else. So here's what we're offering for people on the webinar today. Basically, if you join this investor community now within 1 business day, whether it's today or early tomorrow morning within 24 hours, or if you're streaming this and it's not live, but you stream it and shows that you joined within 1 business day or within 24 hours or less, you get a free AI consultation. I love working on this stuff. Probably by giving these free consultations, I'll come up with another idea that we should be moving on as well and make our current tools better. So what I'm offering is a WhatsApp or text message based back and forth, or audio messages back and forth. And I'll help you not only figure out how to use our tools, but suggest 1 to 3 tools you should probably build out for your own business for free or very low cost using AI. We've thought about this for so many hundreds of hours for our business and invested $100,000 in this project that for sure there are ways we could help you and give feedback. Number 2, 1 bonus Investor Club Mastermind ticket. If you register, it doesn't have to be our April masterminds, but in addition to the normal ability, like when you become a member, all of our events are included at no extra cost. You don't have to then pay for events as well as membership. The membership includes 16 live events a year. Come to as many of them as you want, live stream, in person, etc. And so the extra bonus ticket means you could bring a spouse, you could bring a business partner, you could bring an employee, maybe your head of investor relations, to an extra mastermind, whether it's the same one you're going to or another one. And the third is a 33% off your membership on the 4-month membership option. And if you do that, just pay attention to with a checkout form, when you select the membership, after that, you can scroll down. It says, do you have a coupon code? And you click on that and you enter AI. And if you do that, it'll offer you 33% off our 4-month options. It will not offer you that discount off our annual options or off of the pitch optimization program because those are also already priced very aggressively. So just use that coupon code AI in the next 24 hours, or right now if you're ready to move forward and try us out with a trial membership. And just go to familyoffices.com/join If someone from my team is watching, can just share that in the general chat, that link for familyoffices.com/join. That would be excellent, so that it's easy for people to hop on over there. And happy to do the free AI consultation as early as tomorrow morning if you'd like to. So that's it for the webinar. I am going to go through Q&A now and apologize for not stopping more. Time went by very quickly. Guess I'd like to hear myself talk about AI, so apologize for it taking a full hour to get to this point. But I will go back and answer questions now. Okay, details on the Los Angeles event. Can we pay to attend before becoming a member? Sharif, no, we don't allow anyone to attend events by buying a ticket or attending for free to test it out for many reasons. We guard the investor ratio like gold. Our last investor event had 44% investors in the room. We really work hard to get it to between 42 to 50%. And so 44% we were pretty happy with. But if we gave away tickets or sold tickets, it would mess up the ratio in the room. But if you look at any family office quality event, first of all, free events are just going to be garbage or very bad, almost always, right? Like the best is never free and free is never the best. And any family office event is going to sell for $1,000, $2,000, $3,500, even seen $5,000 or $30,000. Our trial is the same cost for a 4-month trial. It's just going to one conference, and they don't give you AI tools or an investor member portal or access to multiple masterminds and investor summits. So it's ridiculous value compared to like buying an event ticket in an area that's in an event that's not even a community. It's just gonna be a night and day, way more value. What if you have several members on your team? You could buy a second membership, Alexander, if you have more members on your team. And the other thing to consider is you might buy one membership and then you can't go to one event, but another team member can. So even if you have 3 people that might want to attend events, you might be able to get away with buying a membership and then just one add-on membership. And with those 2 memberships, the 3 partners or whatever you might have at your firm might be able to attend a good number of our events. Thanks, Jennifer, for putting that link, familyoffices.com/join. If you think you need a phone call, like a Zoom overview of the portal, just to go over all the benefits of membership, again, with one of our team members, I'll have Jennifer or Daphne or John post the round robin phone call scheduling link as well in the chat. I know some people like to walk through things pretty methodically, and if that's you, then we'll post that as well. Sheldon, thanks for being part of the Family Office Club. Appreciate you spending the time here and for your patience going through all those tools. How about sending these offers out in an email? I want to share with my team and get feedback. It's from Bruce. Yeah, sure. I mean, we're going to be sending the replay out tomorrow. So perhaps with that email, we could be doing that. So I'll talk to my team about that, Bruce. And I'm sure since you asked about that, we can have someone on my team follow up. John, if you want to look up Bruce's details as a member to make sure he gets served, that'd be great. Is the Concierge AI system available to non-members? Robert, it is. If you want to try it out, we're happy to give you that link. Just shoot me a message and I would be happy to get you the link. If you want to text or WhatsApp me, WhatsApp is easiest, but text is fine too. My number's on the screen here. It's 808-600-9260. I will say that tool is our newest tool and it's relatively complex. And there's 1 or 2 parts of it that I'm not too happy with, and we're going to enrich the data in one part still, but it works. And I think it'd still be really helpful for you to use. So just a FYI on it being one of our newest tools. Jamie says, I've been attending a year and a half and the events have been amazing. Awesome. Well, appreciate you saying that, Jamie, because I think a lot of people here have no idea if our events are really amazing or if I just try to make them look amazing. So appreciate you saying that. Christopher, if I'm already a member, where can I see the AI tools? We're adding a page in Kajabi with links to all the AI tools, Christopher. But Jennifer on my team, if you can look at Christopher and look at his membership in our club and send him an email with links to our tools today, that would be excellent. And since some of these are new, even my own team needs to get an updated list of where all these tools are. So they will be in the Kajabi members area very shortly, but Christopher, we can make sure and get you an email with links to them. Thomas, as someone starting out, what's the best way to get involved? The best way is to the best way can be read 2 different ways. The most value for your money is the pitch optimization program, because if you're just starting out and your materials are bad or non-existent or not dialed in or not focused, then you're not going to get much traction and you're never going to get to the next level. So I would highly recommend the pitch optimization program. It's 20,000 plus in value for the $7,800. If the best way to get started in the smallest way possible is what you're asking, then the 4-month basic charter membership, you still get almost all these AI tools. The only ones that are restricted are the Investor Club Navigator and Investor Pipeline Builder, but you also won't get the 22,000 investor database. But at least you'd be able to come to our events and come to the investor summits, and then you could always upgrade to VIP or pitch optimization program later. But if you want to start out on the right foot in the most powerful way possible, it would be the pitch optimization program or a VIP membership. Thanks, AKM, for being here. Do you get bonuses for any of the memberships? Yes. All those memberships give you those same bonuses, Sri. So thanks for taking a look. Yeah, thanks for being here, Frank. Appreciate that. Peggy, I know I owe you an email back. I apologize. I got sucked into the vortex of this AI webinar and wanted to make sure I did a good job on it. And so I owe you an email back. But thanks for being a member since 2018, Peggy. And I really enjoy seeing you at the events. And you're a good example of like a class act member. That's who we try to attract. And we say at the start of every one of our events that people who do well in the ultra wealthy space treat people well, add value first, are kind, they follow up, they're polite, they're persistent, they're not super high stress, high pressure on people, and they know that the biggest successes will come from those that they've taken the time and patience to actually get to know and add value to. So really important to know. Justin saying, yes, it's a great club to join. You can actually meet real investors who are active. I've successfully raised capital from a family office in the first year of joining. Justin, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. I didn't know that you were going to be on the webinar here today. So thanks for taking your time to be here. Dustin's asking for links to the tools as well. Yeah, Dustin, assuming that you are a member, which I think you are, I think I recognize your name as well, then we'll give Jennifer send those tools over to you. Same with Brian as well. Andy saying, great webinar. Thank you. Shreen saying, we love Peggy. That's great. I mean, that's one thing about our events, right? You see familiar faces, you see some familiar investors, but each event will have different people attending, right? So 20% or maybe 25% of the investors and speakers could be similar at different events throughout the year. But a lot of investors based in California are not going to go to all of our events in New York or Florida, right? So it can be worthwhile to travel to some of the other events outside your area. The 33% should apply to both the charter 4-month and the VIP 4-month. It does not apply to the fees going forward. So if you want to be paying less fees on a go forward basis, you should get the annual membership because that will make it so you're paying less on a monthly basis, but it costs a little bit more to get started. But we want to reward those who commit to a year by giving them a lower monthly fee. But the discount is just on that initial payment, the initiation fee, essentially. Ryan said that's great. Dan said that's helpful. Yeah, good to see you here, Dan. Thanks for being part of our events in the past. I know you've spoken a couple of times at our events, and I saw that email from your team this week. I'm here to see other people using AI, and it might become a member. Great. Yeah. Well, thanks for everybody's attention. It seems like the stream of chats are slowing down, so I'll give people another minute or two to type in whatever other questions they have. Hopefully, you're inspired to use AI in new ways, to use these tools, to become part of our investor community. It's really an exciting group to be part of, and it's a perpetual learning machine. I come away from every single event saying, oh, wow, that was an amazing speaker. Like, oh, I got to take notes on that. And I have a page of notes of things I need to get better at and I need to dial in. And I've been to every one of our 300 events, and I don't get bored at our events. Otherwise, would change them, obviously. And so I think if you come, you'll have a great time and see that we're a genuine community and not like a conference business. Shri, the pitch optimization program is not valid for the 33% off because really it's over $20,000 of work that we're doing there. But we just know you'll be a more successful member and have a better experience in the club if your materials are dialed in and you have a one-liner and a one-pager. And the most important thing is that one-liner and the video from your founder saying exactly what you do in a compelling, high conviction, passionate way. People can tell more from you talking for 3 minutes than a 40-page pitch deck on whether they really want to meet with you or get on a call or not. But the 33% off with the AI coupon code does not apply to the pitch optimization program. Membership costs, well, it's about $1,200 after the 33% off for the 4-month starter membership. So it starts there. And then there's a monthly fee going after that at either 385, 345, or 399 a month. So that's what the costs are. Sean, yeah, looking forward to seeing you at the events. And Shannon, yeah, we had previous events in Phoenix and Scottsdale when I lived there. I'm now in the middle of the ocean here in Hawaii, so we are going to do our first Honolulu event in July. Phoenix was a good market for us, not amazing, but it was good. So we might do events there in the future, but there's nothing on the calendar right now. Yeah, thanks, Jimmy, for being here. Darius saying how to raise capital. That book changed my life because I identified choke points. So if you go to capitalraising.com, you can get the book for free that Darius is talking about. And that book at capitalraising.com is a system to attract money to you, attract investors, and acquiring strategic resources and what Vern Harnish calls choke points that can dramatically change your capital raise or your business success. So definitely check out that book at capitalraising.com. It's free. And I appreciate you saying that, Darius. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Robert. And Thomas Wilson, not the one who's my dad, I'm assuming, but is saying, I love the fact that you limit the speakers to 15 minutes. Yeah, for sure. Sometimes 15 minutes is too long for one or two speakers out of 75, right? So that's the good news is like it's over before you know it if someone is not really high energy or saying something super unique. Lance, he's saying, I've been a member and took a pause. I look forward to getting back involved. Awesome. Yeah, appreciate you coming back. Hope the AI tools are a catalyst to that happening. And even if you're just coming to 2 to 4 events a year in your local market using AI tools, hopefully it's a huge ROI. No events in Europe planned right now. We are looking to expand into Singapore next, and then would look to a couple other cities out east because of where I am in Hawaii. But we have done events in London before, and I've spoken at many events in Europe. All right. I think questions are slowing down. In Hawaii, I'm not a member yet. Can I come to the July event? Samuel, I need to be a member first. The reality is, if we sold tickets, they would cost more than the 4-month trial membership because there's no ongoing subscription to it. So it's like if we sold a ticket, you would be paying 14.50 maybe to come to one event, and after a day or two, it's over and you don't get the investor portal for 4 months. You don't get the AI tools. You don't get the community and the networking, and you only got to come to that one event. By doing the trial, it costs less than what we would charge you for a ticket, and you get all those other things plus multiple events during that quarter. With 16 events a year, it's pretty much like we're hosting an event every month somewhere. Sometimes 3 events in a month, like this month. So it's a much better deal to do the membership. Because if you sold a ticket, it just wouldn't even make sense. Um, Oh, got it. There's a round robin link there. If you want to schedule a call with someone on the team, please click on the Calendly link. And then you can schedule a call with my team to go through the membership, go through your exact case use study, and get super comfortable with exactly what you're signing up for. But would love for you to get registered today and use that AI coupon code that we provided, and then welcome you as a new member and do that AI consultation with you as soon as you're ready to use these tools and build your own tools. Um, oh, got it. I see the notes here. Please. All right, I'm going to share this code here with everybody. 1 second. All right, that is the link for the round robin call. And then that is the link for the membership join page if you want to get started with us. Well, appreciate everyone being here. Hope it was a good use of your time. I was actually thinking we were going to get it done about 20 minutes faster, but as usual, I talked a little bit too long. But hope to see many friendly faces here at the April events. We're about 70% full on registration for those. And then at the May event as well, hope to see many of you there. So appreciate everyone's time and energy being here, and we will see you soon at a live event.